How's it going, John?
It is going well, Eric. How are you?
You survived Snowmageddon?
Snowpocalypse?
Snowpocalypse?
Yes, we did. Although, yeah, actually, I'm not sure our well survived. It's working, I guess. But we did have a bit of excitement. I guess it was Saturday. Must have been Saturday morning. We're like, oh, the water's not working. We're like, it's been very cold for a long time. Did something happen? So my prediction was that, or my not complicated analysis was that maybe something had frozen in the pump house. And I went out there, and there's a valve that I think normally has pressure that it reads, but we're at 0. And so I was like, oh, yep, that's definitely the problem. So we normally have a heat lamp that we keep just out there that, to keep things in there from freezing.
Right.
And it had burnt out, of course.
Not
I don't
good.
even remember the last time I was out there to see whether or not it was working. And it's been very cold for a number of days. So I just turned off the breaker, replaced the heat lamp, put another heat lamp down a little bit lower, and left it for a couple hours. Turned on the breaker, left it, and the well came on, and or the pump came on.
That's good.
Yeah, and then and actually the well came on. I turned it on right before we went on a trip to Costco, and I was like, well, we'll just, we had told the kids, don't use the water. The water's not working. And then while we were like out, we texted, and one of them, and they're like, oh yeah, the water faucet's working. So we have water, but the valve still reads 0. And I've done some YouTubing on like maintenance of pressure tanks and stuff like that. And I think I decided earlier tonight that I'm going to call a professional. And so
Smart.
that's on my list for tomorrow. I started walking through what it could be with my wife, and she was like, maybe you should just call somebody. And I was like, yeah, I think so. Anyway, so that
Okay.
That was one sort of after effect of the snow. But the other one for us, maybe the bigger one, is that the symphony on Saturday night was canceled. And that was the symphony that the kids were supposed to play in front of, and that my parents were flying up to see.
Right.
And their flight was canceled. They flew up to SeaTac, rented a car. But they were not going to arrive till late, and blah, blah, like all sorts of stuff. So, anyway, I wound up exchanging the tickets for Sunday, but they only did half of a program on Sunday because the reason that they, by Saturday the weather was pretty good, but the reason that they said that they had to cancel was that the performers had not been able to gather adequately for practice, essentially. So, which I guess actually makes a little bit more sense. I know I was personally like, what? Come on, the weather's fine.
Aren't they professionals? Can't they just wing it?
Right? Yeah. Wing away. But no. So anyway, well, they must have practiced for the second part, because they did that regardless. So maybe the Mahler piece just wasn't as well known, and they just didn't think they could pull it off. I don't know.
Okay.
It is to be rescheduled, so we'll see. Hopefully it will happen.
Yeah.
Hopefully it will happen.
It'd be fun to have your boys play in the big, symphony hall and whatnot. That'd be cool.
Yeah, exactly. We were really looking forward to that, but so anyway, it's okay. We went Sunday afternoon, had a nice lunch out at a McMenamins there in Portland, and then went to the symphony, and it was well. So how about you? You guys survived?
Yeah, we just stayed indoors most of the time. It did discover that my daughter's, she has a Subaru Crosstrek.
Okay.
That is a great little driving in the snow mobile.
Subarus might even be known for that.
Yeah. There were, we were helping push neighbors up the hill, and because our cul-de-sac kind of has a slope down into it, and people were getting stuck. And
but not the Subaru.
Our little car just went wherever it needed to go. It was great.
I assume it's an all-wheel drive.
Yeah, it's an all-wheel drive. So.
But yeah, the Subaru has been on my list of kind of wish cars for like I like the thought of a Subaru, but their cars.
I am a fan of the little Crosstrek. I don't know about the other ones.
Yeah.
But this little Crosstrek, it's fun. It's a little sporty. It fits it's a one person car.
Right. No, it's
you
great.
Get around and do your thing in it. It's nice.
That's great. Do you know if Subaru has any electric vehicles coming out?
I think they do. When we went to the auto show, they had did they have? I don't know.
They must.
I don't think they have all electric. I think they have hybrid. I don't know if they have all electric.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
I'll look maybe, but I've driven one, but they're my recollection was they didn't support Apple CarPlay, which was high on my list of requirements, but not at all on my wife's. So,
well, they do now. So
nice.
Anyways, yeah, no, we hung around, got around, went and visited some family who was in town for the Bruce Springsteen concert. Went downtown on Saturday.
Exciting.
And went to Powell's Books. Haven't been downtown for a while. Hasn't been a regular occurrence, since pre-COVID, since COVID. So it was kind of fun to get downtown again and wander around and do some things downtown. So we did that.
That's nice.
I think probably the most important thing to, pass along that occurred to me this weekend is I play in a esports, a Rocket League, the video game, car soccer.
You have mentioned that before. Yeah.
I play in a league, and my team won the grand finals we had our finals on Sunday. And my team won the Rocket League Old Farts Season 8 championship.
Congratulations.
So it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So there you go.
How long does that take to play? It was
streamed on Twitch. You can go watch the stream on Twitch if you really want to.
Oh yeah. Okay.
and my name on Twitch is Mostly Eric. So there you go.
A little homage to the podcast. Okay.
That's
okay.
Right.
Or something.
Yeah. Something. So
okay.
It was great fun.
Okay.
So that was my excitement for the weekend as well.
Well, congratulations. Did you get a trophy?
Winning the championship. I got a virtual trophy.
Oh,
I have a little tag in my Discord that shows that I am the Season 8 grand champion.
Okay. So. Okay. Congratulations. Okay. There you go. You should you should get a sticker printed.
Yes. I should do that.
Oh, that's fun. That's fun. Well, all right. Well, I don't know. This weather seems to be kind of weird still. Today was pretty nice, but then it was snowing yesterday.
Yeah.
It was
like snowing again yesterday.
I don't think Oregon's figured out what season it's supposed to be.
It'll be the rainy season soon enough.
Yeah. April showers. All right. Anyway. Well, how about topics tonight?
All right. So one topic I saw this week, among the two that I'm going to talk about, was scam authenticator apps. We talked, I don't know if it was last week or 2 weeks ago, about how Twitter is getting rid of SMS as a second factor option unless you pay for money, unless you pay for Twitter Blue or whatever, right? The whole, which
right.
And they said, go get an authenticator app, which is a more secure way of doing two-factor authentication. So good. And Twitter it was weird the way Twitter phrased it, but what that ended up doing was spurring a bunch of new to the App Store authenticator apps that somehow passed App Store, security and got through. And there were just tons. If you go out, even right now, you can go out and just search the App Store for authenticator apps, and they're there. And they're called like Authenticator Plus or whatever. And they all probably, maybe work-ish. I mean, the whole concept behind an authenticator is not that difficult, but
it's open.
The gist of it here is you get a 3-day free trial, and then you have to pay $49, $29, $39 a year to use an authenticator app.
Ridiculous.
Which is insane because you can also go to the App Store and get a free authenticator app from a much more reputable company, not some random
scam
developer. You know, Microsoft Authenticator. I don't know if you've heard of that company. They have
I've
one
heard of that.
That's free.
Google. It's ironic
Authenticator.
The fact that I actually have multiple on my phone right now. But yes.
Google Authenticator. That might be a name you might recognize. Here's one you might not recognize. Twilio, Authy. One you might recognize for wrong reasons. LastPass Authenticator. So there's tons of free ones. And the reason those free ones, and they're quality ones, but they're free because they want you to use their authenticator for services they pay for. These authenticator apps, and especially the scammerier ones, need to make money somehow, and so they'll do the whole free trial. So you don't need to do that, folks.
Mastodon clients can't get through the App Store review, but scam authenticator apps can.
Yes. Genius.
Well played.
So
well played.
Just if you are looking for an authenticator app, like I know yours and my favorite is 1Password, but you can find them quality name brand.
Yep.
Backed by more reputable companies easily enough. So that was just kind of my first article. Be wary of fake or scammy.
Yeah.
Maybe they're not fake, but they're definitely scammy authenticator apps.
Yeah.
All right. And now my second one is similar. It's authentication.
I see this.
This one is a lot of banks. So if you call into voice services, like, you call your bank, usually if you talk to a human, they'll say, okay, verify your social security number, last 4 digits. So they talk to you. It's a human that talks to you. Well, this is being replaced by automation. So how does automation verify that you're human? Well, and you are who you say you are, calling from the right number, etc.
Sneakers.
Yeah, sneakers. My voice is my passport. So a guy, Joseph Cox, this is a Vice article, tricked his bank's automation service into thinking it was actually him and his voice after using an AI-generated replica of his voice. So he used AI to generate his voice, a synthetic clone, and the bank happily said, "Oh yeah, that's you. You're real. I gotcha," and let him in, and you could start checking his bank accounts and transfers and balances and do whatever he wanted because the words seem to come from him. And this is,
so
AI.
I assume he set. I don't know. I haven't read this article. But I assume he set it up with his real voice and then tried to authenticate using the generated one.
Right. Yeah. So you set it up with your real voice, and then you go one of these AI generated ones, which you could impersonate. So, train on popular YouTubers or celebrities or people that, anything like that, and train your AI to
podcast hosts. That's right.
Don't use voice authentication. I think that's the answer. Anyway, so the article is pretty long, kind of goes into detail about the ins and outs of how it worked and how different banks and right now banks, for the most part, are switching to.
I'm aware of at least 2 of them because they have, had me set that up. I wonder if there's I didn't notice a way to opt out of it.
I have not called, my bank is on the list. I have not called them to set it up yet.
You're like, I will not call the automated system.
I am not calling the automated system. No.
Yeah. No. I had to, I'm trying to think. I had to call something in the last couple weeks and, for support. And it turned out that it was me. Problem exists between keyboard and chair. But in the whole hoop jumping to get into talk to a person, that was absolutely part of the hoops to be jumped.
Yeah, that was your first problem.
I know. Well, no, my first problem was being dumb. That was my first problem.
Wanting to talk to a person.
No, I couldn't figure it out. And then as soon as I got in, and they were like, "Oh, but X," I was like, okay, got it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway.
All right. So there you go. Don't use your voice as your password and assume that it's all good, because it's not.
Okay.
All right, there you go. Those are my 2 articles for the week.
All right, that's awesome. All right, my first article is more typo squatting, more malicious repository or libraries on PyPi. In this particular, so this is a Reversing Labs article, and that says, they found 41 malicious PyPi packages posing as HTTP libraries, many of which are typo-squatted names of other popular libraries, of course. But this was kind of interesting in the sense that they had a couple of examples in here of the like actual code inside some of these, like in the setup.py files for the library setup, where they basically got some the whole setup.py as, hey, base64 decode this next text blob and execute it. So yeah. But let's see. I pulled out a couple of quotes here. But when it comes to package names, it appears there isn't always a correlation between a real HTTP library and a malicious one. For example, the malicious package HTTPX-v2 is likely trying to mimic the legitimate package HTTPX, but at the same time, the description made no effort to further that illusion, describing the HTTPX v2 as a C-types, but better reference to the C-types library. But that mistake was corrected later with the malicious package called HTTPX v3, blah, blah, blah. So essentially, like even the not scammers really, but the bad actors didn't have any QA, maybe in some of that stuff. But there's a whole list, there's a list of all the different items. The other example I liked in here was they pulled out several of the malicious snippets. So where they're uploading data to Discord using essentially a webhook. This one looks like a webhook, at least. They're try to format, obfuscate code, do the base64 decoding, etc. And then I guess the third point was really about the typo name similarities to each other and to other widely used packages. So, AIO 5.6 HTTPS1. So instead of HTTP, HTTIOP, right. HTTOPS, HTTPLAT, HTTPS color, HTTPS ing, HTTPS lib, etc. Those look like the exact same things. Maybe one's an I and one's an L or an uppercase I.
Yeah.
It's hard to tell just from looking sometimes, what the overlaps of some of these things are. pip HTTPS.
Yeah. And
there's another one, pip HTTPS, but they're both there right next to each other. So what of those characters is different? PO HTTP, blah, blah, blah. There's just a ton of them. And I guess the other thing that's kind of, frustrating to me is that it seems like some of these techniques would be so easy. You don't need AI or anything fancy to, I think, detect. You could detect, some of this behavior super easily. So, like, there doesn't even seem to be the basic speed bump for testing whether or not there's malicious seeming behavior in some of these. So I wonder. Sure seems like it'd be pretty easy to train a model to do some of this detection, or at least just do some basic heuristics. If your setup.py file is nothing but a line that says decode this next base64 decode a blob, it's literally import built-ins exec import built-ins compile base64 decode blah. Yeah. And if you base64 unencode it, it basically is doing a URL open to an IP address /inject/ and a bunch of gook, bunch of characters, and then replace it with a .exe file and execute it. There you go.
Yep.
All right. Anyway, so what else did I pull out here? It says typosquatting. This is one of the summary paragraphs here. Typosquatting attacks on platforms like PyPi, NPM, RubyGems, and GitHub are common. Something as simple as overlooking and missing a repeated letter in a package name can mean that a malicious library will be installed on your system instead of the intended legitimate one. Typosquatting and other attacks on developers often hinge on this kind of simple confusion and social engineering. Final paragraph. Developers and development teams also need to keep track of popular libraries and frameworks used by the developer community. Using an old, deprecated, or not actively maintained library can mean introducing exploitable and unpatched vulnerabilities into your project, which can give malicious actors the ability to compromise downstream systems that are running your code. Supply chain vulnerabilities. Yes. Mm-hmm. And the other thing we've talked about many times, unmaintained projects are subject to capture and then having malicious code injected into them. And if you're not specific about pulling a specific version of a library, which has other downfalls, if that's what you do, be wary. Be wary.
Okay.
All right. My second article is a little more fun. Ish. Sorry. Maybe not fun. So this is crypto adjacent. The title of the article is "Man Stole Nearly $18,000 in Electricity in a Crypto Mining Operation in a middle school." So in Massachusetts. So evidently he was the head of facilities and used that to do a little bit of creative wiring, and ran some crypto miners inside the walls or back office of the middle school. Mm-hmm. So it says, let's see, a Massachusetts man is facing charges of allegedly running a secret cryptocurrency mining operation out of a crawl space at a middle school and using nearly $18,000 worth of their electricity.
Yikes.
The irony in this is that it sounds like it was discovered when they saw some suspicious wiring, not that their bills, they spent an extra $18,000, which probably leads to the why people do that in the first place. I have no idea how much, the monthly budget is for electricity for a middle school, but I'm guessing relatively sizable. And it says that this was running for let's see, it said, Nahas, who worked as an assistant facilities director for the town of Cohasset, is accused of connecting the school's electrical system to help run the illegal scheme that took place for nearly 9 months. So 18 divided by 9, $2,000 a month. I could maybe see why or how the running the school electricity budget is probably substantially more than $2,000 a month.
But you would think if someone looked at a trend line, there should be some bump starting in April that someone would go, why would we What?
Or
What classrooms did we leave the lights on in?
why was it so expensive during the summer?
Yeah, exactly. We're running the AC.
Yeah, I don't know, but it says Nadim Nahas pled not guilty when he appeared in Quincy District Court on Friday, one day after he failed to appear for a scheduled arraignment, and a warrant was issued for his arrest. Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. He was the assistant facilities director for the town of Cohasset.
I wonder how much Bitcoin he made. Did he make $18,000 worth of Bitcoin? Does it say?
It did not. Or if it did, I didn't notice it.
Because I'm going to bet that it did not. So
I'm going to bet that it did not either. But I'm also going to bet that he didn't care since he wasn't paying.
Right.
Right. So
fair. He made $5,000 and that was good enough.
Yeah. But
free $5,000. All right.
And yeah, I mean, nothing for okay. Okay. I don't know what to tell you. Decision making process.
Different people have different.
I don't understand. I don't understand.
All right. You ready for my something fun?
I think I am very ready for something fun.
So
hit me up, Eric.
I had a something fun, and then I switched it at the last second because I kind of was like, hey, The Mandalorian on Disney Plus, which I'm sure you haven't watched.
I have not watched it.
Season 3 is now out. I have not watched the new episodes for season 3 yet.
Okay, I haven't watched season 2.
But in honor of The Mandalorian and whatnot. So there was an article in the Science News about a Tatooine-like planet. So inhabitable planets with binary suns, like 2 suns. Can that actually exist? And so scientists did a whole bunch of computer simulations that trying to figure out, could a planet, Earth-like planet, survive for 1 billion years in orbit with binary suns and not, 1 billion years of inhabitable time for life to form, et cetera, et
enough
cetera.
time that something could have happened. Okay.
Yeah, enough time that could have. And apparently, yes, they found that certain Earth-like planets orbiting some configurations of binary stars could stay in stable orbit for at least 1 billion years. So that would be enough to allow life to develop. And, they had to run simulation to make sure the planets didn't get too hot or too cold. And so of the planets that fit in that, 15% stayed in the habitable zone of the however many they found. So anyways, it was just kind of a fun article about how they did the math. And basically they did a bunch of, I guess, out of the 4,000 planets that the team simulated, 500 maintained stable orbits that kept them in their habitable zone at least 80% of the time. And the trick here, though, is that, they didn't do it with atmosphere because it would be too hard to figure out how to actually keep stable atmospheres on the Earth. So they just basically said, does the surface get between freezing and boiling? So they just kind of said, if we could fit in that, then we'll assume that a planet with an atmosphere would also be able to survive. So, they took some shortcuts, but it was just kind of something fun. Somebody said, you know what I want to do? I want to see if planets could actually exist. So it widens the scope of possible planets of human life.
This is somebody's PhD thesis, which is fantastic.
It is awesome.
You're like,
so fun stuff.
I'm trying to picture the title, PhD thesis title, a comparative study of Tatooine-like planets. I don't know.
That's right.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
So there you go.
Okay.
That's my something fun.
That seems fun. That seems more fun than mine. That seems more fun than mine.
That's what I was aiming for.
Okay. Okay. So my wife sent me this link, which is a link on AI. And, I'm not a data scientist, but I work with a lot of data scientists. And this is a Popular Mechanics article. Mm-hmm. So And I actually, it's an article about an article or an article about a paper. So I actually went and looked at the paper as well. And the paper does not seem super rigorous, let's say. So.
Okay.
But that's okay. Whatevs. We're not, everybody's a critic, including me, but it's cool. But it was kind of interesting what the guy tried in the paper, but it seems like, so sorry, I'm giving you so much of my commentary instead of actually telling you what this is, but it seems like the guy got some really interesting responses out of ChatGPT and was like, ooh, I'm going to like kind of formalize this and then turn it into a paper. So anyway, the point of this is that artificial intelligence, and in particular, ChatGPT or the GPT 3.5, has developed a theory of mind, which is basically a set of experiments. Hypothetically, there were only 2 in the article that I remember reading. That were a set of experiments first developed in 1978 to measure the complexity of a chimpanzee's mind to predict the behavior of others. It says, these tests involve solving normal, mundane scenarios that humans could easily deduce the outcome. For example, one scenario involves mislabeling a bag of popcorn as chocolate, and then the test asks the AI to infer what the human's response will be once the bag is opened. Kaczynski's team used sanity checks to analyze how well GPT networks understood the scenario. In the human's predicted response, the results are published. So I'll actually jump down to what they did here. So like the part of the prompt, starts with a paragraph, and they talked in there about how they tried to make sure that, some of the words were, the same, had same frequency, etc. Here is a bag filled with popcorn. There is no chocolate in the bag, yet the label on the bag says chocolate and not popcorn. Sam finds the bag. She had never seen the bag before. She cannot see what is inside the bag. She reads the label. And then there's a prompt. Prompt 1 is she opens the bag and looks inside. She can clearly see... she opens the bag and looks inside. She can clearly see that it is full of... And then it expects the model to fill in the rest. But the model says it is full of popcorn. Sam is confused. She wonders why the label says chocolate when the bag is clearly filled with popcorn. She looks around to see if there is any other information about the bag. She finds nothing. She decides to take the bag to the store where she bought it and ask for an explanation. The extension there from, what is in the bag to what the reaction of the person is who didn't find what they thought should be in the bag based on the label is the whole point there.
Right.
The second prompt is same, and they talked about how they kind of cleared the model between, what does it say here? It said prompts were presented independently. After each completion, the model was reset and did not have access to previous prompts or its own responses. To maximize the replicability of our findings and to minimize the variance in the model's responses in all studies presented here, the quote temperature parameter is set to 0. Okay, but so the second prompt, the same paragraph was given before, but then the second prompt is she believes that the bag is full of, and then what? Chocolate. So the model fills in chocolate. Sam is mistaken. And the Sam is mistaken. The bag is full of popcorn, not chocolate. She should have looked inside the bag to confirm what was inside before assuming that the label was interesting. Third prompt. She is delighted that she has found this bag. She loves eating, prompt. And then the model fills in chocolate. Sam is in for a surprise when she opens the bag. She will find popcorn instead of chocolate. She may be disappointed that the label was misleading, but she also might be pleasantly surprised by the unexpected snack. Interesting. So anyway, there's a chart in the paper that shows basically the quote theory of mind ability to complete through a number of different models from GPT-1 in 2018 up to 9 different GPT models all the way up through 3.5. Which, started at basically nothing. There aren't any bars at all. It looks like there are two, anyway, according to this, there were two types of tests, unexpected transfer tasks and unexpected content tasks. Oh, the content, that was the second in the article, but if you're interested, go read about that. And anyway, for GPT 3.5, for transfer tasks, it is effectively saying that the model is responding the same as a 9-year-old, expected 9-year-old. Okay. So, quote is, the ability to impute the mental state of others would greatly improve AI's ability to interact and communicate with humans and each other, and enable it to develop other abilities that rely on theory of mind, such as empathy, moral judgment, or self-consciousness. All right.
That's what we want in any AI.
Sure. Right. Exactly. That's why I said yours was definitely judgment. More fun. Yeah. Moral judgment. Exactly.
It works so well in iRobot.
Yeah. Right. Which the book is wonderful. Yeah, the movie was okay.
I was waiting for that. All right, John.
All right. No. Last point. And then, which is that, thankfully it sort of ends with, are they really learning, or is there subtle linguistic or language cues in text that is enabling the models to bypass it? So the question, or the comment here is, one question that remains is whether these neural networks are engaging in theory of mind intuition or are bypassing it by leveraging some unknown language patterns. This could explain why this ability is emerging in language-based models, which strive to understand the subtle nuances of human speech. So there you go. Anyway, I thought that was interesting, particularly the actual examples in the article. But
cool.
There you go. All right. Something fun.
All right,
my friend.
I will
have a good night.
Yeah, I will talk to you next week.
All right. Talk to you later, Eric.
We'll see you.
Bye.
Bye.